Hello. Welcome back to the DrEnderPickles show. It's been a very long absence, but hopefully I can make up for it with today's guest. We have the one and only SalC1. Sal, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. How about you, Beza?
I'm doing fantastic. So let's start off. What made you what kind of led us to being in this interview together in the first place? Do you remember?
Oh, yes, I do, but it's something I can't really talk about.
Right. I think the least we can say about it is we did a little heist. We'll say it was a heist, non-descriptive heist.
Yeah.
I think that mostly sums it up. But anyways, so me and Sal have been talking for a while. We did a project recently, and this will come out after that project, so we can talk all about midnight, the elusive midnight. Um,
Oh, yes.
because this won't come out until yeah, that's all free and clear. So we'll have that to talk about as well. But let's start off with some introductory questions, like how and when did you even find Tubi in the first place?
I've told this story before. Anyway, I know I've told this story before in another interview, but I'll go into depth about it again. So, what kind of happened was, so I used to run this Minecraft server, and there was this player in my server that was just being an asshole in the chat and just being annoying, and something from that led me to tell him, hey, you should leave this server and instead join like a server that has no rules. And I found this server by just like looking it up online, I guess. And by the way, this whole story actually goes from like I know this because I have like my chat logs from 2014. So I know like I'm just going based off of that. Yeah, it's kind of insane, but where was I? So I told him, "Hey, you should join 2B2T." It was like the first thing that came up on Google. And apparently, I guess I logged into the server for like a second before I actually like copy and pasted it in like my server's chat to tell him, "Hey, join this server instead." And by joining that server for a second, it actually gave me veteran queue, which some of you may know that used to be a thing. And if I would not have had veteran queue, I would have just been disinterested in the server and would have never joined it just because the queue was too long. So that's how I, was able to join 2B2T. And then, of course, later Rusher made his video. I watched the video for 15 seconds and I'm like, oh, this is cringe. So I am going to just go onto the server for myself and just see what all the fuss is about. And give me a sec, my heater just turned on and it's making too much noise. So there we go. Anyway, that's kind of how it came to be. That's how I joined Tubi.
Nice, yeah, and I mean that's really convenient, right? That you join right before Veteran Q becomes active and all. You said 2013, right? Was that kind of the date that you
It was
joined it?
2014.
2014. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's actually around the same time that I joined the server as well. Obviously not for just like a second, but like, that time frame. It was a really good time for 2B before everything started to crash and burn.
yeah. I really wish that I actually would have like tried to play and explore the server, but at the time, I was a lot younger. I had a different mindset about Minecraft in general, and I guess I wouldn't have saw like the potential in a server like that like I do today.
Oh yeah, I feel like the hype that Rusher and Fit kind of generated during that time really added to the gravitas of the server in a very specific way that probably pulled people like you back into it, right? I would imagine.
Absolutely, yeah. It's incredible server. It would just really with the old map, knowing that I can build something and then I can go back to it 10 years later and I might see it destroyed, but it's there. Like the soul of that building is there.
Right. Yeah. The footprint remains regardless. Yeah. That's definitely a big appeal. I would say for most people out there.
Mhm.
At least that I knew when I joined the server. I think nowadays people kind of get sucked into the whole clout rabbit hole of, they see a video and they think they can get into it, and it doesn't really matter what they do on the server. I mean, what's your opinion on that kind of stuff?
I guess, well, the YouTuber that comes into question about this, would definitely be, Fit. I love Fit. I'm a friend of Fit, and like a lot of people definitely join the server, because of his videos. At this point, more so than Rusher, just due to how many views he has on 2B2T videos, and players joining from it. That's like, it's okay on my part. That's, I joined the server from YouTube, so why not everyone else, and unique players. I think that's a good thing for the server in general.
Right. But do you think that players like solely seeking out clout from these YouTube videos is necessarily a good path to
Oh,
take? Yeah. Do you think, like, in comparison to how people used to play the server, where they would get on, and like you said, they'd leave a footprint behind, and they came on to make some sort of legacy, whereas now the legacy kind of lies in, oh, can I get in a fit video? Like, what do you think about that
mm.
transition as a YouTuber?
Well, I wouldn't really call it like a transition. It's just there's a lot of people that do it now, you know. Uh, and if that's the way some people think about it, so it be. We can't do anything about it. Uh, is it necessarily a bad thing? I don't necessarily think so too much. It's just the way the server has evolved, and so it be.
Yeah, I mean the game, it has to change, right? I mean we've been stuck on the same version for how long? It's
Too
people,
long.
yeah, people's opinions about the server and the way they play definitely is bound to change over time. But speaking about changes over time, what were some of the changes you made over the course of some of the biggest changes you made over the course of your time on 2B since you started?
Like changes like I made to the way I play, or
Yeah, yeah, to the way you play and to the way you just interact with the server in general.
so early on, I just joined the server just to play. Like probably for the first week or so, I just got on for a little bit and just walked around and kind of explored spawn. I didn't have any items, and that's how I played. Until I just had this idea that maybe I should make YouTube videos. I've had experience video editing in the past, and why not like make videos about it? So that became like my sole, like, I was just anytime I play on 2B2T, I want to make a video out of something. So I had this idea to make videos about just wherever I travel on 2B2T, I make a video about it. And that lasted for like 2 or 3 videos. And then from there, I started, I kind of changed my route a little bit. Well, also with the fact that I was like absent for like a year from like my first 2 or 3 2B2T videos, I started to change my like route that I took with making videos and kind of made more so documentary style videos. And that's what I've mostly stuck with from here on out. But in regards to like playing 2B2T, the way I changed, uh, nowadays, like it's half now. Like I make videos about, like I play on 2B2T specifically for the video, and then the other half I play just to play. And because if I only play on 2B2T just to make videos, it just doesn't really become, that fun. And if it's something that I feel like it's worth making a video about, then great, you know?
Yeah, and that's a mindset that I wish a lot of. Well, I say a lot of. There's really only one big 2B2T YouTuber, and that's Fit. It's something I wish that he would apply to his his interest in 2B, because you used to have that kind of mindset about it, right? Where it's like, oh, you played a base, you built a base, and if there's something interesting, you make a video about it, right? Like killing rushers at spawn, and participating in an incursion, and being inducted into the spawn masons. But now it's kind of become a thing with his channel specifically, where it's like, oh, well, this happened, and I'm going to report on it and not really interact with it, and it has nothing to do with me, and I'm not really, enjoying the server outside of that, right? And I'm glad you're able to find a balance between the two, where not everything needs to be publicized in that way.
Yeah, I mean, Fit's approach with that is, it honestly makes sense, and I've kind of, in some ways, have made a similar approach where, just do YouTube as a business and just make videos about 2v2t and, just report on stuff. And like I have done videos like that. You have a recent one in particular about the whole Sky Mason base, and like those videos, they do well and everything, but since I haven't really interacted with the actual server, and I was just reporting, in the end they're like not as fun to make to me. So, how should I explain this?
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Where you're not like,
Yeah, I think that's pretty much all. Yeah.
So joining the server for the first time, let's backtrack a little bit. Who
Yeah.
were some of the first major players, or even just smaller players that kind of impacted your journey starting off on the server?
The first ones.
Yeah, just kind of the first couple, the ones that kind of influenced your journey the most. Like if you were to retell a story, right, of your beginnings on 2v2t, who would be the characters that you met along the way in your story?
So early on, this is like before I joined my group that I am a part of now, the Last Templar. I would just try to interact with as many different people as possible, mainly just like to try to get stuff. So there were a few random players that like this, anytime like stuff would come up, I would try to be a part of. And one of those things was actually the what was it? Oh no, yeah, it was Hermetic Lock's spawn base. So I saw his YouTube videos about it. I was like, if I try to go there and be a part of it, maybe I can get some free stuff out of the deal. So I did during a live stream. And that, I think his live stream may still be around, but I was in his live stream, and then they saw that I had a Minecon cape. So the people that were with him in the live stream started chasing me, and then they eventually killed me. So that kind of sucked. So maybe a few months later or so, I eventually found this group, the Last Templar. I was walking around Spawn on my Wikipedia account, and I got a DM saying, "Hey, you want to join this group? You have a cool username." And I said, "Yeah, sure." So I joined the chat, and pretty quickly there, I started interacting with, Aurelius, Mac Tonight, those people, part of the group, and I'm still a part of that group to this day. That was back in 2018, I think.
Yeah, and the Last Templar, right? It's a group that a lot of people, if you've played on the server itself, you've heard of the group before, right? But people maybe outside of the the inner circle of 2B, like not active players, probably haven't really heard of the group too much, right? So what are some of the projects you guys have done on the server, and what is your group mostly known for?
So projects that we've done, well, we're definitely known for our 10K spawn monuments. I'm sure you've seen that video. It's that those 10K monuments were really, really fun to work on. They're just these giant obsidian structures close to spawn, but not too far away from spawn. So it really, when new players go and see them, they are just like dumbfounded by just how massive these builds are, and they're just wondering, who built them, and might bring some attention to our group. So that's one thing we're definitely known for. But in general, we're known as a building group. We build on the server, and we've had a few bases like Costco base, Argonath, bases like that. So yeah, mostly a building group, and I'm pretty proud to be a part of it.
Yeah, what's the most recent project you guys have been involved in? I know you guys had some sort of like spawn base recently.
Uh, which
Something along that line, or some sort of holiday themed base.
Oh yeah, the holiday base. Oh yes, yes. So yeah, we as a method of recruitment, one of our members had this idea to make to be like a Last Templar holiday special base, and so we got together and we built a bunch of like holiday themed stuff, and we dropped the chords in the chat once we had it all done, and literally a minute later we had griefers already coming, but we had like 30 or so people at that spawn base, and it was like just amazing. Like we got tons of new recruitments or tons of new applications into the group, and as a result, tons of new people are in the group now, and it was just a fun overall thing. Even though, in my opinion, I think that base was way too close to spawn because I think someone stole our building materials like 3 times when we were building it.
Yeah, and like for a group that honestly, like, but before I knew you and before I started watching videos on your channel, I really hadn't heard much about them. But the more I did research for this video itself, right, this interview, you guys really have done a lot on the server, and you guys kind of stick in the shadows, right? Is that for any specific reason? I think you said before it's just, kind of avoid drama or group conflict and stuff like that.
Yeah, at least we try to be a neutral 2v2t group. Like we don't want to have beef with other groups because it's just, well, why, and it's not, I guess it wasn't really by choice that we're kind of like a niche 2v2t group that isn't really known very well. Maybe just because it just hasn't been talked about as much, like, the Spawn Masons and Imperium. And I don't know, I guess it's just kind of like, I say it's more so like unintentional that we're just like not really a known.
It probably does
group.
benefit that though, trying to stay out of drama when you're not exactly this household name group,
Yeah, exactly. It does, it unintentionally, becomes a good thing, in my opinion.
Speaking of these bigger groups, you mentioned the Spawn Masons. You were in the Spawn Masons for quite a while.
I was.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about your time in the Spawn Masons, right? And ultimately what led to you leaving, getting kicked out?
Yeah, so you want me to go through the whole thing?
Yeah, sure. Just from start to finish.
Yeah, so I got invited to the Spawn Masons. I don't remember exactly who sent me the DM, but someone invited me to the Masons. I had my whole initiation. I made a whole video about it, and like the group was, so at the time that group was just starting up after it was disbanded, and it was like really nice. Like it was fun. Like I felt like I felt at home pretty much. And some other context is that the Last Templar was kind of like disbanded ish, and there was nothing going on. So I wanted like a group to be active in. So, I was around for a few lodge meetings, and we did our thing as the Spawn Masons. I don't know if I ever really did much at many Spawn Mason bases, like in regards to building. But, here and there, I was pretty active in the beginning, but then over time, I started becoming less active for a few reasons, mainly because the Last Templar at some point became active again, so I became a part of that. But I guess just over time, like I just didn't really connect well socially with a lot of the members of the Spawn Masons, and I guess just over time, like I just became less and less active, and at pretty much I was just in the group just to be in the group, and I did nothing. I mean, there was a time where I didn't even click on the Discord for months. And until recently, no, actually not until the story still goes on. So then there was this space called Sky Mason that came about, and I was contacted by one of the members of the Spawn Masons saying, "Hey, do you want to check out the space?" And I said, "Sure, this looks pretty cool." But then he said, "Oh, well, you have to use this proxy account to see it." And I'm like, "Okay." So I join it, and I get this whole spiel about how, there's no way you can reverse engineer the coordinates from this account. And I had this idea that I would have to use this proxy account to join or to do stuff at the base. And I just wasn't a fan of it, because I even questioned whether the base even existed. And then when I told that individual that, he didn't seem too happy with that and said, "No, this exists on 2B2T," and try to give me all this proof and whatnot. And of course, in the end, he was correct. Did exist on the server, but at the time, I was still
no way of knowing, right?
I was still kind of skeptical, because I knew the Masons were, at least some of the Masons were really smart in the way that they programmed like packs and mods and whatnot. And it could have been fake. He could have been porting the chat from 2B2T like into like a private server or something. Like something just didn't. And even if it was real, something just did not feel right about playing at a base with my account not being able to use my own account there. It just was weird. It did not seem right at all. It's like I wasn't trusted. And I guess I wasn't. And later I learned that they would have let me bring my normal account there if I was more active in the group. But I feel like at that point, if I just started being active, I would have never been given access to that base. And it just had it just didn't feel right. It just really didn't. So I just let it go, and I'm just like, you guys enjoy Sky Mason. I'm just gonna hang out and not go, not do anything there. Then comes the fall of Sky Mason, and I just had this feeling like this is like a huge thing, and I feel like I should make a video about this. So I made my video, and for some reason, a few of the, pretty much all of the Masons, they really, really, really did not like this video that I made. And that's for a few reasons. And I will admit that I made some pretty stupid mistakes in the video, like misspelling one of the usernames in the video. And apparently the base was called Sky Masons rather than Sky Mason. However, I was always told when I was talking to the base members in voice chat, they call it Sky Mason. So I thought it was called Sky Mason. And oh my gosh, and
it's like it's a video, not a wiki article, right? Like you don't have to proofread every bit of it for it to be okay.
Yeah. And on top of that, I'm not going to really mention much about this, but because I said something about how, like in the YouTube video, I said that the reason why. No, actually, what I actually said was the possible reason why, like I didn't know exactly that the base was leaked was because of something that I couldn't talk about on YouTube. And because I said that really, really triggered like basically all of the Masons. And they really did not want me bringing that up I'm not going to say what it is, but they did not want me bringing that up.
Yeah,
But I
that's fine.
had
And
to,
it was the bare minimum too. Like, you did them a favor by saying what you said, right? Like,
yeah, because
yeah,
it's crucial information. That was
of course, part of
crucial.
the story. It provides
It
context.
is part of the story, but I did not like. I wanted to say what I wanted to say, but not bring up drama and controversy. Like that was the intent with that. And I've even had some members say like, it doesn't matter the intent; it was still bad, and SalC1's bad for making this video. And so after I uploaded this video, it caused me an enormous amount of stress. Like I was getting just pressure from the Masons that this video that I made was terrible. What's funny about this though is the video did extremely well. I think it has like 1 million views now, as far as I know. So it did well. I wasn't happy with it because I just messed up a lot of information. Like it was dumb stuff. Like that's what I was kind of pissed off myself about, is that I messed up a lot of information in the video, and I did correct the information I messed up, but what made it worse was that the Masons were really putting it on me. Like they were most of them were actually pissed at me
Yeah, and like
for making that video.
you said, you made mistakes in the video, right? And you
Mhm.
clarified what a couple of those were. But if
Yes.
you could go back, right, before the whole editing process, and change certain things, like do you consider leaving that part in that they got really mad about it, like one of those errors, or would you go back and change that?
I mean, yeah, if I had the opportunity to fix any errors, I would have. However, the one part where I said like I can't talk about, it was for a reason that I cannot discuss on YouTube because it's inappropriate. Um, I had to leave that in.
Yeah, like so you stand by that?
I still stand by that
I mean, as you
because,
should, yeah.
but here's the thing too. I also said like this is just what this is what might be true. I don't know if
Exactly.
that is what actually caused it, because a lot of it is speculation. And so I don't know if I clarified that enough in the video, but for anyone who's watching or listening to this this interview, like a lot of the video was speculation.
Right, and that's good journalism to clarify that in the video, and I think you did a good job
Mhm.
reporting that by making that known.
I just don't think I clarified it enough. That was a huge mistake I
Right.
made, and I learned a lot from this because I need to clarify this stuff a lot more. Like if it's speculation, I need to clarify that and just put it in plain text and just say this. I don't know if this is exactly true, but this is the evidence I have, and this is from what people told me, and I don't know if it's true. And like just say that a little, make it a little bit more obvious. And I failed to do that, unfortunately. But YouTube is a learning experience. Anyway, what happened? What also happened after that video is, I think it was a few days after, I got banned from the Discord, and that at that point, like I didn't really care because I wasn't active in the Spawn Masons anyways. But apparently, yeah, I got banned from the Discord because they thought that I was going to download all of their chats and give it to the fifth column.
Yeah, I definitely see you as the big expose guy. Like, really, like that is such a leap to jump to, especially given how like minimal you were with what you said in the video and how much you gave them credit, right? Like
so
the
I
benefit
want
of the doubt. Like it's crazy to me that they would jump to that conclusion.
yeah, no, I also want to say though that I think that the reason the reason they did that is, so Orson actually did ask me to do that. I'm going to say that right here publicly, but I never respond to that message. Because I didn't want to do that because that wasn't a good thing to do. What am I going to get out of that?
Right,
I wasn't going to do
yeah,
that.
as you said, like with Last Templar, like you guys purposely avoid drama, right? So
Yes.
that would be considered drama, feeding into that, right? And I definitely can totally see Orson saying that. Like I definitely wouldn't put it past him. But
Mhm.
I definitely wouldn't see you doing it, right? Like I wouldn't see you actually going through with something like that,
No, like
especially after
what's
all the
the point?
discourse that came from the video.
Hmm. So I was, I just said, all right, so it be. I'm, I guess I'm no longer part of the Swamp Masons. Oh well. And that just, and I'm still a part of the Last Templar, and we're still building stuff. We're still doing projects.
Yeah, and it's a group you can be fully active in because I'm sure the people in there you're a lot closer with, you've known for a lot longer.
Yes, I've been extremely close with, a few of the, well, pretty much all of the, members I met in 2018. We've all become good friends, and we've just built that relationship, and just through building and talking and whatnot.
That's
It's just
that's
a
really
really,
rare. That's really rare to have friends on the server for that long, in my
yeah,
opinion at least. The people come and go. So to build up friendships like that last that long, it's like some
it's been
exciting
5
stuff.
years, approximately like 4.5 years at this point.
Yeah, that's
Crazy to think
that's
about.
that's something to be proud of. And speaking of things to be proud of, let's kind of get to talking about your channel a bit, right?
All
it's
right.
something that's seen some massive growth over the course of its run, and especially since you started making 2B content and kind of branched outside of that as well. When did you see that first major like pop in your channel? That first major growth when you knew that like, man, this is about to take off,
Well, I knew when it was taking off, and that's the Skittle MC duping video.
right? And like what kind of preparation went into those duping videos, and where did that idea come from?
Okay, so do you remember Team Evolution?
Oh, fondly, yeah. We still communicate now.
Yeah, so I used to be a huge fan of Team Evolution's videos. So for those who don't know, like they're a channel that does like Minecraft griefing, and they did it like back in like 2011, 2012. And they were like known as being the Minecraft griefers. They had all the hacks, and they just made videos about just griefing these Minecraft servers. And I just loved them. Now, with that in mind, I had access to the chunk dupe, and this was like this duplication glitch that everyone was doing on 2B2T, and I had this idea. So if the chunk dupe worked on 2B2T, it had to work on other servers because 2B2T is supposed to be the server that patches these dupes like super quick. So I knew it had to work on other servers. So I just went to a random like Minecraft server and tried the dupe, and it worked. So I thought I should make a video where instead of griefing servers, I dupe on them and give all the items out and try to like destroy the economy. Now, what's funny about the Skittle MC video in general is that it was actually a really bad video. Like we actually didn't like really distribute any items. We just got to Bal Top 1. Like that's pretty much it. But the style of the video where it's just kind of improv, and I just clip together all the interesting parts of the video. It's kind of like I kind of tried to make it like the same, not this. Sorry, not the same necessarily thing that Team Abolition does, but a similar format to the way that he made his videos, and it turned out very well. Got Yeah, I think it got like I think after 2 weeks it was doing okay, and then like it just suddenly got 100,000 views, then 200,000, then 500,000, then a million views.
Yeah, was
And
that
I'm
was that
like,
kind of like a rush, like seeing all that kind of interaction with the video you've made?
I got 25,000 subscribers in like 3 days.
It's insane.
And I'm
I'm
just
shitting
freaking
bricks.
out. Yes, I'm just like, holy shit. Like, this is actually happening to my channel, which I've had up for since 2009, I've never surpassed 1,000 subscribers.
Right, and it
So
must be it must have
yeah,
been really rewarding to have that feeling where it's like, oh, I've put all this effort into making this content, and it's finally being recognized to this scale, and it looks promising for once. Like it looks like a promising future.
exactly. And that's the great thing is, I'm not that proud of the Skittle MC video. Yeah, even though it was a blast to record, like I had so much fun making it, but it's not my best video because we like didn't really do much on the server. But it was really interesting to see that video of all videos get so many views. But it gave people the opportunity to see my channel and see the rest of the videos that I've made that I'm a little bit more proud of.
Yeah, and speaking of videos that maybe you're more proud of than the Skittle MC one, which one is maybe your favorite out of all the videos on your channel? I kind of have an idea of what it might be, but I kind of want to hear your answer for it.
That's always a really hard question. And I would have to say it's my 2B2T world border video where I go to the world border.
Really?
And the reason, so let me give a little context. So before I made the video, I just always had this idea of going to the world border and just thinking, why? Like, why would I go there? It's just a striped wall. I literally say this in the video. It's literally just a striped wall. Why would I want to go there? It's no point. But then I think about it a little more, and I feel like, you know what? This is like something all 2B2T players should eventually do. And as I started traveling there and, recording the little stops I made, that's when I kind of realized that it was really like about the journey more so than actually getting to the border. So as I was traveling, I had Burnsy's like travel log like loaded up so I can kind of go to the same places that Burnsy did when he was digging the tunnel, and I would compare before and after shots of the pictures he put in his journey log on the 2B2T Reddit.
Oh yeah, that was
And
an
the video was just
iconic string of posts.
yeah, and the video was just incredibly fun to make, and editing it was really fun too because I got to clip it all together, and the way that I had the music in the video. Music is a really important part of my video making process. Like the music has to fit in the video. I don't just randomly place it. It has to be perfect. And
I completely agree.
I think everything in that video, the way I voiceovered, but also had like some improv stuff where I instead of voiceover, I just record whatever's there, and it's just a perfect combination of all of it. And then I really appreciate like just myself for taking that extra step to not just stop at the world border, but keep going in the nether, just because I wanted to see like why would someone build keep building a nether tunnel in the nether when it doesn't go anywhere. Like it only goes somewhere in the nether, nowhere in the overworld, because if you try to build a portal after the overworld border in the nether, it just spawns you back in the overworld border. So I traveled that like 50,000 blocks, and I'm just like, I'm not going to go any further than this, but I thought I should at least go a little bit. And what's nice about that is Fit, he made his video about the netherworld border, and his video perfectly fit in with my video about going to 2B2T's world border. Like, in fact, he actually used the same music I used traveling in that tunnel in the first part of his video, and it just worked perfectly. Like, if you're gonna watch, like, if you want to like watch a whole series about like the 2B2T world border, watch my video first, and then watch Fit's video about the Nether 2B2T world border. Like, those two videos just fit together perfectly.
Yeah, and on like a deeper level, like traveling to the world border, you said it's something that you think every player should do at least once. Do you attribute
Yeah.
that to like, seeking out a new frontier, or like just setting a goal? Like what do you attribute that to? What kind of gain do you think players would get from doing that?
Well, that is what I tried to that's what I tried to figure out in the video. On the title or in the thumbnail it says, "Is the journey worth it?" And I think the answer I came up with was like it just depended. So you do it just to do it and be satisfied that you did, and then useful aspects are maybe you can backtrack and then build your base like really really far out and just take screenshots, and you get to know that you did it. It's kind of like climbing to the top of like a mountain. You do it because you did it. It's like an accomplishment. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
climbing Mount Everest.
Trying to prove something to yourself that you have the ability to scale the mountain.
Yeah, because like telling your friends like, "Hey, look, I went to the Minecraft vanilla world border in vanilla asterisk, used a hack client with Elytrafly to get there, but still I did it." It's kind of cool.
No, yeah, it's really cool. It's definitely one of those novelty things on 2B that not many players do, but it's definitely growing now as a result of like the content that you and Fit and other YouTubers have made about it. So it's definitely getting the word out, and like you said with Burnsy's journey, like that's just it's an iconic string of posts that he made. That original string of posts about traveling to the world border. It's definitely like an iconic 2B2T thing to do. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but speaking on that topic, kind of outside of 2B, but Minecraft in general, iconic Minecraft moments. Pack PNG. That was a huge thing for your channel, right? That whole discovery process and figuring that out and bringing in the community to discover that. What did you get out of that whole investigation that you didn't have coming into it?
Well, I'll just kind of give you a little rundown. So I made the video, The Mystery of the Pack.png file, and I made it just kind of like as a question. Maybe someone, I guess the thinking behind it was, so I saw this picture always show up, and I just wondered, like, where did this come from? Like, can I actually play on this? Because I see that picture so often when switching my texture pack or when joining servers that didn't, change their default image. I saw it so often that it just was stuck in my head. I'm like, where is this actual Minecraft world? So I just decided to make a short video, and after some Google searching, I couldn't find anything. And I thought maybe from making the video, someone that's really savvy, with internet searches, or happen to know the seed, or maybe one of the developers would see it and, oh yeah, here's the seed that I used to generate that picture. I thought it would just be super easy. Like, we'd have it within maybe a few days of making the video. But boy, was I wrong with all of that. So after I made the video, within like an hour, like a few hours, like my Discord server was just a moderation nightmare. Like thousands of new people were joining, and we were like, "Oh my god!" And instantly, there was just people were posting in that one chat channel I made in my Discord server, saying, trying to find everything they possibly could to get the seed. And Notch eventually responded to my tweet on Twitter, saying that he thought the seed was Mojang. I think that was his response, or if he didn't know, it was one of the developers that said that the seed might have been Mojang, but then we realized it wasn't Mojang, and from there, it attracted a lot of developers to actually try to crack the seed from this tiny little image. So it just sparked up this huge thing that I would have never thought would have ever happened. And it's interesting because I intentionally uploaded that video as kind of like a side thing. Like I just uploaded it as like a not a side thing, but a thing that I would just like upload in between as like a filler video, pretty much, because the main thing that I was actually thinking of at the time was starting up my Anarchy server, and that was like my priority. But I just wanted to upload that video in the meantime, just to have a video out before I actually got this Anarchy server ready. Obviously, the whole pack.png project delayed that Anarchy server by about like a month or two, and then I finally, uploaded my videos about that. But yeah, pack.png was basically defines my channel to this day, as and also my video about the title screen. So many people know me. Most people actually know me as like the dude that made the video about finding these Minecraft seeds, and it's
Yeah, I would
that.
imagine it's one of your most popular videos, and something I think people very closely associate with you because of the amount of effort you and your community put into the investigation itself.
Mhm. It's done incredibly well for me, and the people that contributed to actually finding the seed to pack.png, I couldn't even imagine it. Like, they found the seed to an image that was 128 by 128 pixels. It's just insane to me. But yeah, no, that whole thing unexpectedly gave a huge boost to my channel, and I could not thank everyone that was a part of the project. It was just an incredible ride, I have to say.
Yeah, and speaking of an incredible ride, I feel like we've been talking forever, so we're kind of at the last little stretch now. I have some true or false questions for you,
Oh boy.
prepared, right? And you can kind of expand on these whenever you give your answer. But you already kind of answered one of them, so I guess you can just expand on it. But let's start with the first one, which is there's rumor that you own the Wikipedia account. Is this true or false?
That is true.
How exactly did you get that account, and why was what was the significance of it?
So, I think you probably know of, like, in 2014, I think it was 2014, 2015, maybe, Mojang started allowing name changing. And as a result of name changing, any accounts that were created like way in the past, you had the ability to create a Minecraft account and take the username, but not actually buy the game. And there were a lot of like OG usernames that were not that were signed up for Minecraft but didn't actually own the game. And those usernames suddenly became available at that point in time. And one of those usernames happened to be Wikipedia. And I knew the exact time. Like, I had it all planned out. Like, I wanted these usernames, and I only had like a few accounts to do, but Wikipedia was on the list. I just thought Wikipedia was like such a cool name. And I think it was about an hour after name changing came out, I got the Wikipedia account name, and I've had it ever since.
Nice. Yeah, it's definitely awesome to have a novelty name like that. This is a very obscure one, but it's very, very cool.
Mm-hmm.
So true or false? True or false? Are you associated with salhack?
No.
So that is false. Okay.
Zero association. And let me tell you, it's gotten so bad that people. So we actually had to. We actually had to code in a thing in my Discord server bot that says, so like, whenever someone talks about salhack, we do !salhack, and that runs the command to say that salhack is not associated with SalC1 whatsoever. And the reason salhack came about was it was a hack client for my Anarchy server, and people actually started using it like even after the server shut down, like on 2b2t, and just people thought like I made it or I had something to do with it, but no, I had zero to do with salhack.
Right. It kind of took on a mind of its own. And I mean, do you know if it's still a thing today? Is that still being actively developed?
So the developer, his name is Einar. He does not actively develop salhack anymore, but he did actually help me with my TreeMC video, and he used a a module of salhack to actually dupe a bunch of items on there. And apparently, it was also a dupe that was working on my Anarchy server, which involved. So, like, I had a plugin installed called I think it was called a legal stack, and that disabled. I don't know if it was a legal stack. I think it might have been a legal stack that disabled the player from being able to put chests on donkeys and stuff, like to stop donkey dupes. But this mod bypassed that, and actually, that plugin itself made the dupe possible. A plugin to stop duping made the dupe work, which is ridiculous. But yeah, he used salhack to do that, and INR was in the video, and it was those TreeMC duping videos did really well. They were super fun to make. But yeah, salhack, no, I had nothing to do with it. Didn't make it. Yeah,
No association whatsoever.
none.
So next, true or false, and you kind of answered this twice, so I guess it's not necessarily a big question. So I'll reword it a little bit. True or false? The SalC1 Anarchy server is still a thing.
No, it's not a thing anymore.
So what was kind of the situation with developing that server, and what was its ultimate demise?
So I originally developed the server just to see what it would be like to run an Anarchy server, and I just wanted to see, like, is it possible to do it, and what are the implications of being a owner, an admin of the server. And I thought it would be a cool idea to make a YouTube series out of it. So that's what I did. I started this server, and like it immediately got hacked. Someone found some exploit with Bungee cord or something. We quickly patched that though, and I made like 3 videos about it. It was pretty fun, and I guess the end goal was, I guess at first, like, I wanted to, like, I didn't want to run this server forever because I didn't want to be a server owner for the rest of my life. So I had this idea, like, to hand off the server to someone else to run it, like, after a certain amount of time. But then I realized, like, I think it's best that the server just gets shut down, because if my name was behind this server and like I wasn't running it, I don't know if that would be a really great thing. Just in general, I just didn't think it would turn out well. So I decided to shut down the server, give some people, or give my viewers some time to finish up their builds and whatnot before the server shut down, and release the entire world download. And at the time, I think that world download for the Anarchy server was the single largest Minecraft server world download that has ever been released, which is pretty cool. And I don't think there's been a larger map ever released since then of a Minecraft server. I could be wrong. I could have been wrong before, but who knows?
Yeah, I would imagine, anything that's an Anarchy server, people are going to go to the extreme to travel out in the world. So yeah, I would imagine it's probably a pretty big file.
Absolutely.
So, we're done with the true and false. Kind of on to the last kind of retrospective look at everything. So what are your kind of hopes for the future? And by that I mean like future of 2B2T, your channel, and about the game itself. You can answer in any order you'd like.
I'll just go in the order that you said. 2B2T, Housemaster, please update the server. We've been on 1.12 way too long. I just want the server to update. That's the main thing. It's been tiring that the server is on 1.12, and it's it's gotten definitely, it's not boring. Like we're still doing stuff on I'm still doing stuff on the server, but it would be nice that the server updated. That's the number one hope for 2B2T. The lag is fine, like the two server's not laggy. That's not the problem. We just need an update. So my channel, I'm hoping this year for 2023, I hope I can get to a million subscribers. I think I would only be able to do that though if I got like another really viral video out. And my most recent duping video has done pretty well, has 1 million views, so that's nice. But I think it may take a little bit more to really get to 1 million subscribers. And the only thing is, this year I have a lot of stuff that I'm doing IRL that isn't YouTube channel related, and unfortunately I can't get into what those things are. But I'm probably not going to get that many videos out this year, which sucks, but I'm gonna try to get a good bit out. But next year, it's so long in the future, but next year I feel like that's when I really want to start getting serious. Actually, not next year. I would say like by fall of this year is when I really am gonna get going. That's like my goal there, is to really get a lot of good videos out. And even now, I'm gonna try, to get a good videos out between now and then. That's the reality of it. But I hope maybe I can get to a million subscribers. That'd be kind of cool. We'll see.
Yeah, that's a lofty goal for anybody, and that would definitely be exciting.
Yeah, and what was the last thing again?
Just your opinions on the game itself, on Mojang. I know you have some very strong opinions about some of the recent changes, so I'm interested in hearing what you have to say just about some of the most recent changes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the first thing that comes to mind is the chat reporting. Not a fan. Nobody's a fan. And so Microsoft, that was just a really poor move on their part. However, it's really nice to see the community just immediately finding ways around it, which is so nice to see. And the no chat reports mod has like a few million downloads at this point, which is awesome. But what sucks is, server owners that just don't know or don't care, just they leave that setting of chat reporting enabled on their server. And, that's what makes it so effective, is that it's a default setting in Minecraft, in a Minecraft server, and the server owner has to know to turn it off. But luckily, any like bigger Minecraft server that's worth playing on turns that setting off anyway, so it's not that big of a problem just because of that. But yeah, really poor decision Microsoft has made. Other than that, with the most recent Minecraft updates, like I haven't really played much of the updates so much, mainly because the two servers I play on, 2B2T and Minecraft Online, have been on 1.12. And there just hasn't really been much of a reason for me to go to 1.19. But actually more recently, I have kind of got together like a vanilla mod pack ready to go for when 2B2T does update to 1.19. If it ever does, 1.20, we'll see. But so with using that mod pack a little bit more often, I've kind of gotten a little bit more used to the newer Minecraft versions.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, it's a very treacherous territory now that we're getting into when it comes to Mojang's development on the game, the very divisive decisions they've made, and implementing stuff that most players wouldn't really know about because they're on by default, like you said. So it's going to be interesting to see how that affects servers like 2B2T and Minecraft Online going forward if they decide to update.
Yeah, it's gonna. I mean,
very interesting.
when 2B2T does eventually update to a newer version of Minecraft, it is going to be a show.
Oh yeah,
just from how many new features.
Yeah, people are going to come in droves to check out how much the server has changed.
Yeah, it's gonna be insane.
Well, yeah. Well, thank you so much for being on. I appreciate you for being on the show. It's amazing.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where your channel goes this year and next year, and fall of this year, like you said. It's
Hmm.
exciting to see what new stuff comes out. So thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for having me on. I don't do interviews that often, but I hope whoever watches this, gets something out of it. Sorry about my stuttering. I don't do interviews that often, nor am I really great at public speaking, but uh, there it is. That's my interview.
Oh no, yeah, I'm horrible at public speaking, but I think doing these interviews is a great way to improve that over time. Consistency and
Hmm.
learning what goes wrong and improving on that in the next one. So
Exactly. And that's why I take so many takes when I record my videos, just because like I stutter so much.
see,
So
yeah, I'm crazy.
yeah.
I'll screw up everything and then jump right into it and be like, you know what, fuck it, like this is it, like this is the only cut. Like I want
Hmm.
people to hear the craziness and chaos of it all. But yeah, thank
Understandable.
thank you so much. Thank you guys for watching. That's gonna be it for the interview. Signing off.